The crystal chandeliers cast a warm, golden glow over the ballroom, a sea of elegant gowns and sharp tuxedos. I adjusted my bow tie, feeling my partner, Sarah, squeeze my arm. She looked radiant tonight, her smile lighting up her face as she chatted with a friend. For a moment, I felt a wave of pure contentment. This was my life now, stable, happy, predictable, and I liked it that way. But then, across the crowded room, I saw her, Maya. It felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. She was laughing, her head tilted back in that way I remembered so vividly. She was with a man, tall and confident, his hand resting possessively on the small of her back. She looked incredible. Time had been kind to her, softening the sharp edges I remembered, but leaving that same fiery spark in her eyes. Our gazes locked for a fleeting second, a jolt of electricity arcing across the space between us. She gave a small, almost imperceptible nod, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips before turning back to her partner. My heart was hammering against my ribs. It had been 5 years. 5 years since the screaming matches, the slammed doors, the tearful, final goodbye that had shattered both of our worlds. We had loved each other with a ferocious intensity that burned so brightly it was destined to burn out. We were too young, too stubborn, too sure that our way was the only way. The breakup had been a Category 5 hurricane, leaving a trail of wreckage. I'd spent years cleaning up. Sarah was my calm after that storm. Later, the orchestra began a slow waltz. The host announced a charity dance, encouraging everyone to switch partners to raise more funds. It was a classic, cheesy gala move. Sarah was whisked away by a portly gentleman, and as I stood there, a voice from my past floated over. Care to save me from becoming a wallflower? Maya. She stood before me, her emerald dress shimmering. The man she was with was now dancing with someone else. Up close, I could see the fine lines around her eyes that weren't there before. It made her look even more beautiful. I thought you hated waltzing, I managed to say, my voice a little hoarse. People changed, she replied, her smile enigmatic. She extended a hand. My mind screamed no, but my body moved on its own accord. My hand found hers, and I led her onto the dance floor. The moment my arm went around her waist, it was like coming home. Every nerve ending in my body lit up. Her hand on my shoulder was a familiar weight. Her scent a mix of jasmine and something uniquely her filled my senses. We moved together in perfect sync, a muscle memory our bodies hadn't forgotten despite the years and the heartache. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. The dance said it all. In those 3 minutes, the ballroom, the music, the other people, they all faded away. It was just us, suspended in a bubble of shared history. I saw flashes of our life together, lazy Sunday mornings in bed, cooking disastrous dinners in our tiny apartment, hiking to a waterfall and kissing under the spray, the devastating fight that ended it all. Her eyes held the same storm of memories. I saw the love, the pain, the regret. The music swelled, and I pulled her a fraction closer. Her breath hitched. I could feel the gentle rhythm of her heart against my chest. Or maybe it was mine. It was impossible to tell where one of us ended and the other began. This was the connection I had tried so hard to forget, the one I had convinced myself I could live without, the one I had never found with anyone else, not even with kind, wonderful Sarah. When the music ended, we stood frozen for a second too long. The applause from the room sounded distant and muffled. Releasing her felt like tearing something apart all over again. It was. Good to see you, Liam, she whispered, her voice barely audible. You too, Maya. She turned and walked back to her partner, who greeted her with a kiss on the cheek. I watched them go, a hollow ache spreading through my chest. I turned to find Sarah making her way back to me, her face beaming. Wasn't that fun? She asked, linking her arm through mine. You looked so serious out there. Who was your partner? Just an old acquaintance, I replied, forcing a smile that felt brittle and fake. The rest of the night was a blur. I went through the motions smiling, donating, making small talk, but my mind was a million miles away, replaying those 3 minutes on the dance floor over and over again. Maya and I never spoke again that evening. We kept a careful distance, our gazes deliberately avoiding each other. But the damage was done. Driving home, Sarah rested her head on my shoulder, humming along to the radio. She was talking about our future, about the house we were looking at, about the trip we had planned for the summer. This was the life I had chosen, the safe harbor. But the ghost of a hurricane had just passed through, and I found myself wondering if I was built for calm seas after all. The dance had been a question, proposed not in words, but in a shared glance, a familiar touch. And now, as I looked at the woman beside me, and then at my own reflection in the darkened window, I had no idea what the answer was. The gala was over, but the most difficult dance was just beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this story resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the complicated turns life can take. I'll see you in the next one.